Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Southern Kentucky police officer continues to recover after a crash that left him severely injured. And one eastern Kentucky county sees an increase in COVID-19 cases, making it go from green to red on the latest map.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. The time is 4:59. I'm Keaton Hall. Let's throw it over to Brandon Robinson for a check at the weather.
Well, the forecast this morning, Keaton, still looking pretty good, but I do think we see some rain chances come our way a little bit later today. I think most of the folks across the region will dodge it, but some folks might see it just a little bit earlier, especially in those western counties. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Satellite radar, not a whole lot, just a few clouds working their way toward us, but as we go out to the state view, you'll be able to see that rain is off in the distance. It's still quite a distance from us, and it's pulling to the north right now, but it'll be in our neck of the woods here before too long. Still out back toward Paducah and Evansville this morning. We're looking at cameras across the region, and for some reason that graphic is not working. So we'll just move right on to temperatures real quick, and you'll see some of those are actually out this morning. Logan and Jacksboro, but everybody else is online. Very mild morning out there, 50s, 60s, and even some 70s as you head out the door this morning. So we're going to continue to see that. Actually, just noticed that Manchester is a little cooler at 49. Out the door forecast, again, I don't think you'll need your umbrellas all day, but you might need them later in the day as we see some stray chances for rain start to pick up a little bit later this afternoon. This evening. Just keep them in the car just in case. Keaton?
Thanks, Brandon. A Monticello police officer is making a lot of improvements after being involved in a crash last week, but still has a long road ahead. Police say Officer Jeremy Thompson was returning home from training when an SUV pulled in front of his motorcycle. The community is now rallying together to help him and his family, just like they've helped when others have been in need.
Jeremy's the type that does things not for recognition. I have found out in the past year, he and his wife have bought coats for a couple individuals that needed it. He has helped people with food. He has helped people in other ways.
The city of Monticello is planning several fundraisers for Thompson, including a lunch in the downtown area farmers market today, where you can pay with donations. We've got an update on the Louisville police officer shot while responding to that mass shooting at a bank last week. Officer Nicholas Wilt is being moved to a different hospital to continue treatment of pneumonia. We told you Tuesday he contracted the illness. Wilt will be treated at University of Louisville Jewish Hospital. He remains in critical but stable condition. Wilt was one of the first officers on the scene of the shooting that killed 5. The last of the victims, Juliana Farmer, will be laid to rest this week. On the latest COVID-19 map, all of Kentucky is in the green except for one county. Letcher County is the lone red county in the Commonwealth for the week ending in April 17th. Dr. John Jones with Primary Care Center of Eastern Kentucky says it's still a good idea to get the vaccine, even though it feels like the pandemic's over, and to be smart if your county does happen to jump back into the red.
It's basic precautions, good hand washing, trying to keep your distance, and getting the vaccine. I think that's the most important part.
The FDA has also recently approved a second bivalent booster for the elderly and the immunocompromised. In the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, when we were losing Kentuckians at an alarming rate, and Governor Andy Beshear asked us to turn on a green light as a way to honor those we lost. Now, 3 years later, permanent memorial art is close to being finished to honor thousands of Kentuckians who have died. Amber Philpott was able to get a first look at the memorial.
It is a tranquil place of creativity, allowing for the art envisioned here to come alive. Inside Prometheus Art, Amanda Matthews is hard at work, racing the clock to finish her latest creation.
We have had blinders on. We have had to keep any distractions that we can, outside of those blinders.
In November of 2021, the Lexington artist was chosen to create the Team Kentucky COVID-19 Memorial. Matthews is no stranger to the state capitol. Her statue honoring education pioneer Nettie Depp was installed last year and became the first statue of a woman to stand there. But this latest piece will be very different. It doesn't just represent one person, but rather an entire state.
The reason for creating something like this is to memorialize a difficult time in history, memorialize lives lost way too soon, but also to show the strength of communities when they stick together.
Matthews invited us to her studio in the country to get a first-hand look at the piece coming together. Her design, United We Stand, Divided We Fall, is a 3D representation of the state seal.
And there's really a rich history involved in that motto.
The pieces scattered about her studio will come together to embody what that motto came to represent during the pandemic, a time when Kentuckians had to not only come together, but take care of one another in order to move forward.
We have lots of concentric circles, which is exactly like our seal. We have the motto, which of course is part of our state seal. And instead of just having two people shaking hands in the center, really we wanted to be very inclusive of Kentuckians and kind of bear their humanity, their strength and their sorrow.
The piece is comprised of both bronze and stainless steel, and perhaps one of the most gripping elements is something missing.
Each of the bronze figures have a noticeable hole at the base of their neck and their chest, which really reflects that loss, that feeling of kind of a cold wind blowing through you when you've lost someone.
Matthews and her partner Brad Connell worked side by side, getting every detail just right, taking the idea Matthews had in her head from computer generated to miniature moldings to finally the life-size art pieces.
It starts with, obviously the idea and sculpting usually at a, manageable scale.
Since last May, they have been working night and day, and it is not lost on this couple the gravity of what this work represents.
For me, it hasn't even just been about the citizens of Kentucky, but about the citizens of the world, because it's touched everybody on earth.
And as the final patina is placed on this moving memorial, this artist hopes those who visit it will find beauty in its solace.
We want to create this space where they can come and reflect and feel not only that they're represented, but that they have a community who understands.
That was Amber Philpott reporting. When the piece is ready for installation, there will be a special ceremony at the Capitol. That memorial will be encircled by a ring of green lights and will be accessible for you to walk up to on the Capitol grounds. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, a string of tornadoes takes the lives of at least 3 people in the state of Oklahoma. Severe storms cause issues down in Texas as well.
And rain chances are on the way back here at home, and they will follow us into the first part of the weekend. I'll track them for you in about 3 minutes.